Wow, the Psychiatric Advance Directive sounds like it's something that if I were a mental health care patient or if I knew someone who had mental health care issues, I would definitely recommend. So, with that in mind, where should one start?
I would say talk to a doctor. Talk to your doctor because this is the person with whom you have a relationship, person who has been involved in your treatment, and can provide you initial information. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned before, the states that have laws described in psychiatric advance directives typically mandate that the healthcare organizations inquire if the person has psychiatric advance directives and also offer information about psychiatric advance directives to their patients. If you learn that your state indeed recognize psychiatric advance directives, you can check with patient advocacy groups such as NAMI or with the local civil law center to inquire about legal assistance in completing the document. Such organizations can help you with drafting the document, identify possible information you may need to properly complete the document, and prepare it in a way that ensures that it is valid in your state. Finally, I would like to mention that there are numerous online resources that people can turn to. And the one that stands out in my mind is National Resource Center on Psychiatric Advance Directives. As a matter of fact, if you Google search Psychiatric Advance Directives, that would be the one that first pops up in your Google search. In addition to that, you may want to check out NAMI and SAMHSA websites for additional information.
Thank you, Dr. Raven, for sharing that. And for our audience, we do have a downloadable sheet that has links to the resources, to the organizations that Dr. Raven just mentioned that can be a helpful resource to, find these organizations. Thank you, Dr. Raven. Could you tell us what are the typical steps involved in drafting this?
I would recommend, first of all, to start reflecting on your prior experiences. Pencil down what worked for you in the past, what did not. Try to recall what medications you have tried before, which ones of them worked, which ones of them did not, which ones caused any side effects or adverse reactions like allergic reactions. And also, though, think about the times when you were in crisis. What helped you to get through? Or what kind of things were you making more upset? Think about the people who you may want to visit you in the hospital or talk to your treatment team, maybe have records, access to your medical records, or take care of your house, finances, pets, or dependents while you are admitted to a psychiatric facility. Think about your prior experience with psychiatric hospitals. Are there hospitals that you would rather prefer to go to when you're in crisis? Are there any hospitals that you would rather avoid? And finally, write down information that could be useful to your treatment team in coordinating your care with your outpatient providers. Write down the name of your primary care physician, your psychiatrist, your therapist, your counselor. It would be very helpful to know their addresses and the phone numbers so the treatment team could quickly reach out to the healthcare professionals who you trust, and this may possibly even speed up your discharge. The next step would be to identify an individual who could make healthcare decisions on behalf of you if you become unable to make those healthcare decisions yourself. That could be a family member or a close friend whom you trust to make healthcare decisions for you, keeping your best interest in mind. If you don't have that individual, remember that the laws traditionally are not mandating you to identify an individual like that. You can still complete psychiatric advance directives, leaving that section blank. However, if you happen to have somebody you trust, it could come very helpful when the treatment team needs to consult with somebody on what your preferences are for treatment when you are not able to provide those directives to the treatment team yourself. You may not know all the answers to complete psychiatric advance directives. That is quite all right. You could write down what you want and then edit this document later on once you become aware of additional treatment options or preferences that you may have. Once you feel you're ready to complete the document, search for available templates. Some states offer templates that could be used to organize your thoughts, make sure that the document is properly witnessed and notarized. And once you complete this document in its entirety, bring it to your treatment team, bring it to your doctor, have them included in your patient record. Another thing is that certain states have registers for advanced directives. In this case, you would be able to upload the document to the website, and the healthcare providers could go there and consult with the document, even if they don't necessarily have a copy of that placed in your chart at the time when you get admitted to a facility. Remember, you are still in charge of your treatment. Just because you complete this document, it does not take over you. You could modify or withdraw this document completely at any time for as long as you retain your decision making capacity. So if you feel that you're no longer happy with what's in the document, notify the treatment team and amend it as you see fit.
So, Dr. Raven, can you tell us where to find information specific to where I live?
So when I look for state-specific information, my first go-to resource is the National Resource on Psychiatric Advance Directives. I mentioned that to you before. It's the first one to pop up on Google search, and it has an easy to navigate website. It has wealth of information. You could actually look at the list of states, click on your state. It has a section with Q&As where you could find most commonly asked questions. One thing that I would suggest is to pay attention to when the information was uploaded. Most of it is up to date, but if you notice that it does not have a recent date of the upload, I suggest that you approach your local civil law center or maybe local chapter of NAMI for the most up-to-date information.
Thank you, Dr. Raven. Those were some very important points, and I have been making notes as we go. So, before we take your leave for the day, I just wanted to reach out, thank you first, and then ask you for quick closing remarks for patients and for caregivers.
So, first of all, again, I would like to thank PsychU and you, Sucharita, in particular, for your interest in this topic. You know how close it has been to my heart. I would like to mention the Psychiatric Advance Directives is still a relatively new tool. A lot of education still needs to happen. It could be a really great tool that helps patients guide their treatment. However, the tool is only good when you use it. And despite clear evidence that psychiatric advance directives enable patients to direct their care during the time of mental health crisis and improve patient outcomes and satisfaction of patients with their treatment, many patients, caregivers, healthcare professionals are still hesitant to discuss psychiatric advance directives, primarily because of their limited understanding of its nature. I'm grateful for this opportunity to contribute to increase awareness of psychiatric advance directives, and I believe it is a powerful tool that is underutilized, but hopefully it'll be used broader and broader and allow our patients to receive psychiatric treatment that really meets their needs.
Thank you so much. And with that, I thank everyone in the audience who listened to this recording. And please contact PsychU if you have any feedback. And I look forward to seeing you at our future webinars and VLEs.